Today's lecture probably would be the most important lecture of your life. I'll try to give whatever I've learned during the last 30 years, the gist of it. And inshallah, it will be very easy for you to find your path towards closeness to Allah. The purpose of life is to be successful in the eyes of Allah. And who can tell you better than Allah Himself that what is the key to be successful? I'll just quote an ayat from Quran. The surah number is 5, which is Surah Ma'idah, and the verse is 35. I would like you to later have a deep look at it and then try to see the message that Allah has given all of us. I will recite the ayat first. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. O those who believe. Now, Allah is addressing us. We believe in Allah. The level of Iman does vary from person to person, but there is no denying that we all have Iman in one Allah. The knowledge of one person about Allah and the knowledge of other person about Allah may vary, but there is no denying that we do believe in one Allah. So Allah is addressing us, whether the level of our Iman is very high or whether the level of our Iman is low. It doesn't matter. We do believe in Allah. So Allah is addressing us. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Now the verse goes on. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah. The next two words are Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah. Ittaqullah. Usually, if you see the translation, it is given fear Allah. But that is not the correct translation. Allah is not to be feared basically in the sense that the word fear has been used. Allah is supposed to be, we are supposed to be conscious of Allah. That is a better translation of it. So what Allah is telling us, that you should be conscious of me. Up till now, we were leading a life of forgetfulness, we were ghafil, and as such, we were committing all sorts of crime by all the organs of our body, from our tongue, by our eyes, by our ears, by our hand and feet and private parts. So we were committing all sorts of sins. But the reason was that we were having Iman in Allah, but we were not very conscious of Him while passing our lives. So we have passed an entire lifetime without being really conscious of Him. So what Allah is telling, okay, you have Iman, I know that. Allah knows these things. Allah knows everything. Now Allah is telling that be conscious of me. Ittaqullah, be conscious of me. Now, once a person approaches towards Quran or approaches towards reforming himself, of course he has realized this thing. Without realization, you don't turn towards this thing. So the realization is there that up till now I was not very conscious. Now I have become conscious of Allah. I have become conscious of the fact that the last so many years have passed in ghafla, have passed in heedlessness, and therefore I was committing a lot of sins. Now I have become conscious. I have become conscious of Allah. It means that I become conscious that I should not have been doing all those sins, and I should have followed a life of obedience to Allah's command, which I did not do. So what Allah is telling, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O believers, ittaqullah, be conscious. So the first thing that Allah wants from us, if you want to be successful, according to this verse, you must become conscious of Him. Conscious of the fact that you were sinning. Conscious of Allah means that you become conscious that now I will not sin. I will try to lead a life which is according to the dictates of Allah, according to the wishes of Allah. So the first few words, what is it? Number one, O believers, be conscious of me. And you say, yes, Allah, I become conscious. I become conscious of you in the sense that I want to make amends. I want to give up the life of heedlessness. And I want to pass a life of obedience now. So, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O believers, be conscious. Conscious means that, yes, you say, I become conscious now, and I want to pass a life of consciousness of you, avoiding sin and doing those things that you like. Now, once you have got this realization, what you do is you are feeling bad in your heart. You are feeling remorse in your heart for all the sinful activities. So what you do is, indirectly, it implies that you should feel bad at heart, you should repent for your wrongdoings and sin. So you make a sincere tawbah. So what I'm trying to tell is that the very few words of this verse is telling that you must become conscious, and by conscious means that you are repenting in your heart. You are wishing to turn back. So that desire is within you. So Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah means in a way that you have become conscious, you have made a sincere tawbah within your heart. Okay, now from now onwards, I will lead a pious life. I'll try to avoid the haram and do only that pleases my Allah. Now let's see what Allah is saying further. Wabtagu ilayhil wasilata. Now this is the part. Seek means of approach to Him. This is how they translate it. So what Allah is telling you now is that you must find a way of reaching Allah. You must find someone who will guide you to Allah, to Allah's proximity, to Allah's closeness. Wabtagu means to seek actually. You must find someone. That is the first thing. After Tawbah, the first thing is you must find something. Not do solo journey. Not try to keep beard and start going in the mosque and read Holy Quran on your own. That will not make you reach anywhere. What Allah is telling is you must seek means of approach to Him. You must find a mentor. You must find a guide. You must find someone who will tell you the path to Allah. That is the first thing that you require. Majority of the people, the mistake that they make is, what they do is, they start on their own. They think that they understand Islam totally. They don't need the help of anyone. They know that it is a good deed. Of course, reading Quran is a good deed. Going to the mosque 5 times, very good deed. Doing some zikr on your own, very good deed. But the thing that Allah is telling, there is an order of everything. Allah is telling you, you must find someone who will guide you. Just by taking the book of medicine, you don't become a doctor. You don't do it haphazardly. There is a systematic way. You have to do anatomy first, then physiology, then biochemistry, then pharmacology, then pathology, things like that. You go gradually, and then finally you study medicine. And then you do house job, and then you know how to treat patients. Similarly, there is an order actually. So similarly, what you need is you must get a teacher. You must get someone who is far ahead of you, who has traveled the path, who knows the path, who can direct you properly. This is the most important thing. Now what people do is they think that I know Islam. I know everything, so I can do on my own. I can just open the book and then read it and then know everything from it. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen in our worldly life also. You don't take a book of engineering and you become engineer. You have to take the guidance actually. So this is what Allah is pointing to us. We must seek the means to Him. Wabtagu ilayhil wasilata. Wasila dhoondho. This is the command actually. This is the advice actually. So this is the cardinal mistake that majority of the people who are traveling on this path, they usually make this mistake. The majority of them they make mistake. And that is why the teachers themselves, the guides themselves, they were not guided properly earlier on, and as such, they haven't reached their destination. They haven't found Allah in their life. They are very, very, very far. They haven't made the first step. You might become an alim, you might become a mufti, you might become a qari, you might become a hafiz, but that is because nobody guided you properly. You got the wrong guide, you got the wrong teacher. The first thing is, and don't start on your own. If you start on your own, you will reach nowhere. Keep this thing in mind. You must take help of teacher. This is the beginning. This is the basic step. And this is the basic step where you make a mistake. Let's say you approach a bus station. You want to go somewhere. You must ask someone who knows everything, which bus should I embark on? If you embark haphazardly on the wrong bus, you will never reach the destination. You will reach a wrong place, and you might feel satisfied all along in the bus, simply believing that you will reach the destination. But that bus will not take you to that destination. It might make you an alim. It might make you a qari, a hafiz. You never know. A grammarian, expert in tafsir, expert in hadith. But that is not the goal. The goal is to reach Allah, is to find Allah, is to be successful in the eyes of Allah, to achieve divine pleasure. This is the goal. Okay, so the part that we did was wabtagu ilayhil wasilata. So what we have done up till now is Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O believer, ittaqullah, be conscious of me. Then what Allah said is wabtagu ilayhil wasila, find a wasila, find a means to me. So after finding a mentor, a guide, a teacher, what you do is wajahidu fi sabilihi. You have to strive, wajahidu. Now without no pain, no gain. Without striving, you reach nowhere. You might get the best of the teacher in the world. You might get, let's say, the greatest alim, the greatest Sufi. You might get the greatest guide in the world, the greatest sheikh, the greatest peer. But even then, he cannot benefit you until unless you strive, until unless you begin doing whatever your guide is telling you. If you don't labor, you don't get anything. No perspiration, no gain. No toiling, no result. No reaping, no sowing of the seed, no fruit. Okay, so this is very important. No pain, no gain. So the first thing is that after getting a teacher, after getting the means, after finding someone who is guiding you, you must abide, you must follow whatever he is saying. You must strive, you must exert all your energy, you must give time, you must take pain, you must labor, you must do whatever he is telling you. Don't go as you wish. Don't do things that please you. You are not supposed to please yourself. Now your pleasure lies in the pleasure of Allah. All these years you have been leading a life according to your own nafs. Now you will try to do things that pleases Allah. So you have to strive in His path. Wajahidu fi sabilehi. You have to strive in His path. Now the key word is fi sabilehi. In His cause, in His path. The key word is He, sabilehi, His. Now, He, that I would like to emphasize. You are striving, but please strive not for becoming alim. Please strive not for earning name, fame, wealth, power through religion. Majority of the people who have come in this path, they have put on a lot of efforts. They have learned Quran, they have learned grammar, they have learned hadith, they are expert, they are alim, but they achieved lot of worldly gains through religion. This should not be your goal. Your goal should be that you are striving only and only for Him, sabilehi, only for Him, only for His pleasure, only for divine pleasure, only for reaching closeness to Allah. This is the only goal. It should be very clear. You must be sincere. There must be a ikhlas in it. Wajahidu fi sabilehi. When you are striving, you must strive continuously. There must be firm, sustained determination. You keep on striving in His path. There must be sincerity. Whatever you are doing only and only for Allah. This is the most important thing. Striving and striving continuously, striving for Him. There must be sincerity. Once you are striving and striving till the last day of your life, till death comes, you keep on striving in His path. And whatever you are doing only and only for His pleasure. Now let's see how the ayat ends. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. Allah is telling that if you do these things, inshallah, you will be successful. So that you may be successful. So the ayat is a beautiful, this verse is probably my favorite verse, I would say, because it gives you everything in a very few words, in very brief few words. Allah has told everything that you need for becoming successful. O believers, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullah, be conscious of me. That means I am a believer. I have become conscious in the sense that I am conscious of Allah. I was doing wrong. Now I've decided, I've made sincere tawbah within my heart, and now I shall try to pass a life which pleases you. I'm conscious of you. So ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullah wabtagu ilayhil wasilata. Now Allah is ordering us, don't do it on your own. Find a mean, seek the means of approaching me, of finding me. Wasila dhoondo. So you search someone. This is the first thing. You have to find a mentor. There is no other way. Don't make this mistake. Don't think that you can open the Quran and you can find Allah. You will never. Your nafs is going to misguide you. You will end up at the wrong stop. You'll be drowned. You can't reach the destination. The destination is pleasure of Allah. Without guide, without mentor, you can never. In this world also, in any field, no matter which field you take, you need someone who guides you, who has been on that path, who has reached that zenith actually. He is going to guide you. So you need a mentor. Then once you get someone, you do whatever he is telling. You give your utmost. You spend all your time, energy, mind, everything. Whatever he's telling you, do it. You strive. You exert yourself. You perspire. You toil. You do whatever he's telling. And it must be sincere. Wajahidu fi sabilehi. You are doing it for him, not for worldly name, fame, power, wealth, other things. No, not for that. You are doing it exclusively for Allah's pleasure. And Allah is telling, you will be successful. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So that you may be successful. So Allah has given us the key to be successful in life. And the paths are, number one, Be conscious of Allah, that means repent first. Then, wabtagu ilahil wasilata, find a guide, a mentor, someone who knows the path, who will guide you properly. Don't start on your own. Don't just start wearing burqa and saying prayer. That will not take you anywhere. You might be wearing burqa for 30 years and you might be performing namaz for 40 years. You will not reach anywhere. These are just ritual. You have to find a mentor who can guide you. And then you must be ready to strive. And you strive with all your might, with all the power, with all the exertion. And then it should be with ikhlas. It should be only for him. And inshallah, you will be successful.